Hey, good morning, good morning. This is Latoya Dennis, Girls to Gems, 5 plates. God bless you on this day. I pray that all is well with you and your family, and that like you know that God always has your back. So the Lord put a word in my spirit to share out into the world, and it is about the importance of discipline and structure. So somewhere along the generations, I was born in the 70s, so everything was very strict then. You didn't have a choice if you was going to church or not. You went to the early service. My grandmother was always at sunrise service. Y'all probably don't even know what that is. And we didn't leave until about 3 in the afternoon. And sometime during the day, they had to feed us because we'd be in church so long. They had to feed us a good meal. And it's not that I wanted to be there. I was a kid. I'd rather be at home playing. I was kind of a tomboy, so it's not like I wanted to be dressed in all these frilly dresses. And there wasn't a children's church, so the children had to be in the pews with your parents or your grandmama, whoever took you to church. And the ushers and the deacons looked real stern. They looked like they would not hesitate to take their belt out and pop you in front of your parents or your grandparents if you wasn't paying attention. But there was a lot of lessons and principles that came with that. Even though, most of us didn't want to be there, it was something about being in church that when we got into real life and had to deal with some real life issues right around the teen years or preteens, you knew that there was someone bigger than this earth that you can talk to, that you could pray to, that you can get an answer from. And if it was left up to me, if I was asked if I wanted to go to church, I would have never went. And my mama, she didn't always go, but she made sure we went when that bus came. I don't know if she just needed a break or what, but if my grandmama wasn't taking us to church, she made sure we got on that church bus. And at the time, I lived in Carson and Scottsdale, so the church bus would drive around Scottsdale, pick you up, and it would be singing like church songs all the way to church. But we didn't have a choice with a lot of things. And because we give our kids so much choice and so much play at the table at such a young age, they really don't have the discipline or the structure that's needed to survive beyond the four walls of your safety. So for those born in my generation, maybe even before, maybe a little after, because I raised my kids the same way. When you live in a house, it's things you got to do. It's chores that have to be done. It's rules. After the house is cleaned up, you're not going to be running in and out, dirtying it back up. So either you stay out for the day or you come in, but you're not going to be running in and out. You're not going to be sitting around all day. That was one thing. We could not sit around the house all day. I don't care if it was in my mama's house, my grandmama's house. We had to go find some business. We had to get up, get dressed, get the heck out. And if we stayed in the house, then we had to be in our rooms reading a book or doing something. But there was never this sense of leisure, extensive leisure time. And so as I came to the age where it's time for me to work and have my own money, my own responsibilities, it wasn't difficult for me to hold down a job and keep it, to deal with difficult people. I mean, my first job, I was 15 and a half, and it was not difficult for me to have to work side by side with people I didn't care for, or work with managers that I didn't care for, because I had already had that training at home. The training, the world didn't revolve around me and my siblings. Our parents taught us how to live in it, how to adapt to it, how to fight against it when necessary. But we learned everything at home. So I just want to encourage everyone to not put those those principles to the side. You know, you have these kids, and I hope I'm not sounding old, but like they get to smoke weed in front of their house with their parents. They get brand new cars off the lot for nothing. They ain't earn nothing. I mean, they barely even wash dishes. Like you gotta pull teeth for them to just remember to wash dishes. Some of them don't even wash themselves every day. So just know that although the world changes and things evolve, the principles that we learn, those spiritual principles that we learn from God, taking care of your house, cleanliness is godliness, fasting, having a discipline about yourself, that when your comforts are taken away, that you can still survive, you can still sustain, and you can still be strong in it. Whatever the deficit is, you can still be strong in it. We have to teach these principles to our kids and not take all that off the table because we feel like we didn't get as much. So now we're going overboard, like giving way too much to our kids, and they haven't even earned it at all. So, one day when your kids are a certain age, whenever, we don't know when God is going to call us, but many of you have houses, businesses, possessions, different things that you've worked hard for that you will be passing on to your kids to manage. Can they manage it? Or will they lose everything? After you go, with your hard work, everything that you built, so that it can roll to the next generation and the next generation. Will it be sold 5 minutes after your death? Are your kids capable of knowing what to do? You left them a house or some houses. Can they take over those bills? Can they put your affairs and your businesses or your business in order? And if you're not sure about that, because we all know what our kids are capable of doing and what we question, then it's time to change that plan. God's plan never changes. God's plan never, ever changes. So get your plan off the table and get back to those roots. God bless.